lot of things I find confusing. In my last video, I discussed aliens. I find aliens confusing. I find time confusing. I find the past, the present, and the future confusing. I also find numbers and infinity confusing, because there are certain rules that make sense, but I'm confused why they make sense. For example, infinity is not equal to infinity, because there are two types of infinity, which doesn't make sense because infinity, by definition, is never-ending. So how could there be two types of never-ending? Well, somehow there is a countable infinity and an uncountable infinity. The countable infinity is stuff like whole numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, stuff like that. The uncountable infinity is everything in between, 1/3, 0.5, 0.9, 9/10, everything like that, because there is the same amount of numbers in between 1 and 2 than 1 and infinity, which let alone blows my mind, which is why I'm confused about time. For us to keep track of our lives, we gave time a name, which is seconds, hours, minutes, stuff like that. But time is made up. Time is non-existent. Just because the sun goes up and down every day doesn't mean that that means anything. The sun just goes up and then the sun goes down at the end of its cycle. So we can't really truly dictate our lives based on the sun, but we do anyway just because that's how time works, and like obviously you know what time is, so I don't really have to explain this anymore. But we need a new measurement for time that is more precise, just because time is made up. Time is not real. Which is really hard for me to say because there's so many things that say time is real. We dictate our life off of time. You have a dentist appointment next week. Well, the only reason you know how long a week is because of time. The only reason that time does not make sense to me is because of the countable and uncountability thing that I discussed earlier. There's the exact same amount of numbers between 0 and 1, and 1 and 2, as there is between 0 and infinity. Second end. If there is a countable and uncountable infinity, if there's the exact same amount of numbers between 0 and 1 as there is between 0 and infinity, then how can a second ever end? A second can go from 1.0000000000000000009 to 1.Google 0.9. A second cannot end because there is an infinite amount of milliseconds and nanoseconds inside of that, because a number does not stop. If you have a whole number being 1, the number does not stop. It is 1.0 times 10 to the infinite power. What's more confusing about time is we base it on the Earth's rotation, which is basically the sun going up and down throughout the day. But what's weird is that within the next 100 years, or not 100 years, the next 100,000 years, a day will be 25 hours instead of our typical 24. But a day is not 25 hours, so what are we going to do? We can't change our time system to 25 hours. That's just not how it works. So we're going to have a missing hour that we're not going to know what to do with. Plus, there's more confusing stuff about time. For example, the past never happened. The future will never happen. The only thing that is real is the present. And I'm going to leave you guys off on that one. If you guys want to see more of these deep thought videos, then be sure to let me know. I'll do full videos, not live comms. I will literally do face cam and just discuss it, and probably have a debate with my sister just so I can have somebody to dispute with, so I can keep my argument going, so I can explain it better. So, if you guys enjoy these, be sure to comment, and if you want more of these, if you actually like these things, which I'll be surprised if you guys enjoy these things as much as I do, thinking like this, then be sure to comment, and subscribe, and I will keep them coming for you.